Shalom, this is GMS Holland Sit Downs coming back with the lesson. Want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostle of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect out there, spreading this word of sincerity and the truth all over the four corners of the earth. Gone. Real quick lesson concerning the relationship you should have with your wife according to the scriptures, concerning sex, intercourse, laying down with her, stuff like that. Because there's a certain rule that a man has to follow, which goes back into the law. Because really, in the time of Moses, females didn't really have much to say. So the law was just based upon the man that had to have sex with his wife. Simple as that. Let me grab that scripture real quick. This is Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife. So this also shows you that a man is allowed to have another wife. A man is allowed to have multiple wives. Is it wise to have multiple wives in this kingdom? No, it's not wise. Because you're gonna have a lot of, you're gonna need to invest a lot of time in them, while you're supposed to be busy with the scriptures. You're gonna catch hell through these females, because for Satan it's easy to jump upon them and give you mad stress. They require much attention, stuff like that. So is it wise to have multiple? No, because the thing is, you need to also be able to take care of her to a certain degree. Of course, they think they can take care of it themselves nowadays, calling themselves independent women, females. But there is a law concerning this, and this is gonna explain it. Exodus 21 and 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Now her food, we know a man is supposed to take care of her food if she can't work. Of course, back in the days, you would just have your wife close to you, and she would guide the house. So while she's guiding the house, you go to work, you make money, and you gotta make sure that food is on the table. Her raiment, you gotta have that money so she has clothes on her back, and her duty and marriage. What is the duty of marriage? Sex. Sex is the duty of marriage. Let's see if the conjugal rights, cohabitation, which is sex, the duty of marriage. You see, sex is the duty of marriage. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Let's look up the word diminish. Diminish in the Hebrew is garai. Garai, to diminish, restrain, withdraw, abate, keep back, do away, take from, clip. So what I'm trying to say is that the scriptures speak concerning the man. The man cannot diminish to have sex with his wife. But it's vice versa. It's vice versa, because nowadays these females are not women, so they don't obey the husband to that degree that they are willing to listen to him or do anything that he says, like back in those days. So back in those days, if a man wanted to have sex with his wife, she would be down for that. She wouldn't complain and buck up or anything. But nowadays, of course, these females think that they have something to say. So it's vice versa nowadays. A female is supposed to give a man sex, when he wants to. But a man is supposed to give his wife sex also when she wants to. Unless it's the Sabbath, of course. You're not supposed to have sex on the Sabbath. So these things ought you to do. And 1 Corinthians chapter 7 explains you. Um, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. Now, if we look up that word benevolence,
Strong's G 2133, eunoia. Eunoia.
it says eunoia, goodwill, kindness. But if you look, so basically, of course, you gotta have a good relationship with your wife. You know, you gotta uh, uh, um, basically have love for each other. You have to not break each other down emotionally or physically, beating up your wife for no reason. So of course that's benevolence, but there's a deeper meaning to this benevolence that it's talking about here, because here again you see the conjugal duty, which is sex. The conjugal duty, which is sex. We just looked it up in the book of Exodus, chapter 21. The duty of marriage shall he not diminish. This is that duty, conjugal duty. Let's look it up in the Farlex dictionary. Conjugal. It says conjugal of or relating to marriage or the relationship of spouses. Let's look up duty. Bullshit. Conjugal duty. It says it comes from the Latin conjugere, to unite. What unites man and a woman? Sex. But nowadays, of course, marriage, they don't look at marriage as sex. So they're not gonna be straight with it and just show you the conjugal duty, conjugal relating to marriage. Now, what's the duty that is related to marriage is sex. So yeah, that's basically it. So deal with your wife, do benevolence. Let me read it again. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. You see, so whenever the man wants to have sex, the woman should not neglect it. The woman should not diminish it, or how you say that? The woman should not neglect it. She has to basically lay down with the man. Verse 4, the wife had not power over her own body, but the husband. So if the husband wants to lay down with her, have sex with her, she doesn't have power over her own body to tell the husband no. If the husband wants to lay down with her, then that's what it is. And likewise also the husband had not power over his own body, but the wife. Yeah, the wife, if she wants to have sex, the husband can't deny her. You can't neglect her and say like, no, I feel like it. No, give her sex. This is the duty of marriage. This is how you keep a healthy relationship, and that benevolence, that conjugal duty in effect. This is how you do that. And then if this does not happen towards the husband, you are allowed to put it away, man. Sirach 25, I believe. Is it 25? Yeah, 25. Sirach chapter 25, verse 26. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. And this is in certain cases. you know Basically, you can't expect in these times to have a wife that is basically serving you to the tip top. You can't expect that. If brothers in the camp and brothers that are in the truth already have a hard time being upright, not lying to each other, and things like that. If brothers already have a hard time dealing with this flesh, how much more the female that is a weaker vessel? So you can't expect too much from these females nowadays. So you just should just kind of choose the middle way with them, and just you know just accept them for what they are, man. Until the kingdom comes, these females will be in total subjection unto their husband, which subjection also goes into respect. And if a wife, but this is my point, but if then the wife doesn't have the amount of respect for the husband to just give him sex whenever he desires, then that's something that can bother you very much, man. That's something that can stop you from having love and affection for this woman, and a healthy relationship. If she thinks that she basically, in Holland they say uh, that she wears the pants, meaning she's the boss. If the woman is bugged out like that and just thinks she can give you neglect to have sex with you for months, then you cut her off, man. Then you cut her off, or you just find another woman. Keep the woman and find another woman. Hey, if you don't want to give me sex, then you go find it somewhere else. Simple as that. Because you have certain men that that might burn. The Apostle Paul was speaking about it. Let me see if I can find it. See, in the same chapter. It's in the same chapter. Let me see. Um, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 9. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. So if you really have the desire to have sex, then it's better to marry, man. Then it's better to take a wife unto yourself. So certain brothers are stronger, on the sexual level, to just restrain from women, man. Restrain from women, and just deal with this truth. But certain men, they desire to get love and affection from a woman, from a female. They desire to have sex. Of course, every man desires to have sex, but certain men can deal more easily with it. So if a woman is bugging out and doesn't even want to have sex with you, just cut her off, man. Just cut her off. Who are you to say I don't want to have sex with you? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? So we dealing with all this madness in this world, with all this stress, all this, all these afflictions, and basically uh, a way that I can blow off some steam is to have sex. And you are denying me to have sex with you? Who the fuck you think you are? If of course, if you come in a situation like that, you have to talk about it, man. You got to make it known unto her that, listen, if this keeps going on like this, I'm gonna have to cut you off, man. you know I'm gonna have to cut you off. Why are you my wife if you don't want to have sex with me? That doesn't make any sense. So then you just cut her off, man. If she keeps how you say that, stomping down her feet, like it says in the book of Deuteronomy, the curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom. Now, this is part of being evil towards him, by neglecting to have, denying to have sex with him, you know, setting the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, pretending to be somebody, thinking she's the boss. That's part of the curses, man. Her eye shall be evil towards her husband and towards her son and towards her daughter, by beating them up, being evil towards them, imagining all kinds of things towards them. You often see also that Jake females are jealous of their daughters. Jake mothers are jealous of their daughters and they do all kinds of shit, man. You have Jake mothers laying down with the boyfriends of their daughters, man, out of jealousy and spite. So these things are among our nation. And as a man of the Lord, if this happens unto you, man, personally, I will cut the woman off, man. First, I would talk with her, see if the problem can be resolved. Of course, you don't cut off your wife just like that. I always say, like, there has to happen a lot for me to cut you off. If you withhold me from pushing this truth, if you block me from bringing out this truth, or if you cause me to sin, then I'm gonna have to cut you off. Or if you commit adultery, of course. But things can always be resolved, and things can always be spoken about and discussed as husband and wife. You know, also depending on the age of the female that you are dealing with. Because if you have a young female that is completely bugged out because of this world, that's not really you can't really talk with her on a level of maturity. But if you're dealing with a woman that can listen and is constantly not constantly bugging out, then talk about it and resolve the problem and keep it moving. Don't just cut her off easy like that. If the problem can be resolved, then resolve the problem. So going back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, let me read it again, verse 3. Let the woman render unto the wife due benevolence, with the duty of marriage, give her sex, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. Also the wife has to give sex unto the husband. The wife had not power of her own body, but the husband. Yeah, the husband can take the woman whenever he wants. And likewise also the husband had not power of his own body, but the wife. So the wife can take sex when she wants. If you share a bed together and the wife desires to have sex, give her sex. You know, give her sex, man. And the other way around also, vice versa. So with that, I'm going to say, Call Elohim, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, Shalom to the elect.